Okay, so today you're going to learn how to turn a texture or an image or a shape into a vector, so transforming it from a pixel-based shape to a vector. You're going to want to import or place your image into Illustrator, so open up Adobe Illustrator and go to File, Place. You should have the image on your desktop. So I'm going to take this texture and click Place. Then comes up with this shape. You just click and it's now on Illustrator. Go to the selection tool V and you've selected your texture. Hold Shift to scale it down and then your texture is in the space. The difference between Illustrator and Photoshop is you also have this workspace, so anything in this grey area will not be printed. So to start with, we'll work in the grey area. So zooming out, Command or Control minus, Command Control plus to zoom back in. Hold space to bring up the hand. Keep hold of space, left click, hold left click and drag to move around your document. So with this, at the moment, it's just a shape. You can't do anything with it apart from use it as it is. So we want to turn it into a vector like this. So you're going to click on the shape and at the top come some options. You're going to click Image Trace. There are also other types of image trace on here, but we're just going to do the default. So when you click on Image Trace, this box will come up. Now it looks slightly different. It's now become a vector shape. We're going to click on the Options panel, Image Trace panel, and click on Advanced and remove the white. So we're going to ignore white. So we're just going to focus on the black texture. So you click on Ignore White, and as you can see, we'll close this. It is now just this shape. However, we can't edit it yet, so we have to click on the shape and click Expand. So at the moment it's an image. We want to turn it into paths. So we click Expand, and as you can now see, if I zoom in, it's made up of all the different anchor points and paths, which then allows me to change the color. Because we imported a black and white image, it thinks we want to work in black and white. So we're going to click on our color panel. If it's not here, go to Window, Color. Click on the Options panel and choose Red, Green, Blue, RGB or CMYK. And now, as you can see, I can change the color to anything I want. Let's just make it a bit brighter so you can see. So now from the original black image trace on the right, I've now got my image on the left. This can be scaled up to any size and you're not going to lose quality. It won't pixelate because now it's vector based. You can do the exact same thing by importing a photograph of a piece of paper that's been black, so a shape. And now we're going to try and combine these a bit like Atelier Bingo. As you can see, they've combined this organic green shape with the textures on top. So to do that, you've got a layers panel as well. It's always useful to work on different layers. If it's not there, Window, Layers. If something is on the same layer, select it, cut it, click on New Layer. You can name it by double clicking, so I'll call this Shape 1, and then paste, Command V. That is now on this layer. I can tell what's on this layer by hiding it. That's the only thing on that layer. So I've changed the color of this by clicking the eyedropper tool, and I chose a color from here. So I might choose this blue, and as you can see, it's changed to that color. This was in the previous video as well. So I'm going to try and combine this with this texture. There's different ways you can do it. For example, I'm going to enlarge it in front. So at the moment this image is in front. I'm going to select both. If I click and drag, it's now selected both. Bring up your Pathfinder tool, Window, Pathfinder, and you have different options for uniting, minus front, deleting parts of the image. So if I click minus front, it's cut through that shape in front. So now I've got these two separate parts. They move together, but if I choose direct selection A, I can move this one on its own. Alternatively, if I switch these around and bring this below this layer, So I'm going to drag this layer below, click and drag, bring it to the bottom. So now it's behind the texture. I click both and click minus front. As you can see, it's cut through the texture. So you can create something a bit like this, but only in the shape you've selected. That's one way. The other way is you can click on crop. And if I switch them back round, so I'll bring this shape back up to the top. Select both, click crop. As you can see, it's cut through that shape. So that's one way you could do it. Another way is if you have a shape, so say we have this shape here, I've made a shape, you go onto the transparency panel, window transparency, you can see the selection here, you can make a mask. So if I click make a mask, at the moment it's disappeared. So if I click invert mask, remove the clip, and click on this box here, I can bring in a texture into the mask. So make sure clip is removed, invert mask is on, and you're on the mask. So what I can do is I'll click back on this so I can move this over here, and I'm going to copy and paste a texture into this mask. So if I select, go back onto the normal menu, so I'm not on the mask, I've copied this, and go back to this shape, it's got a mask, click on the mask and paste. As you can see, it's come up to this mask layer. So at the moment it's behind it. You can't see it at the moment, so I'm going to have to clip it, and as you can see, it's cut through. That's a different way to do it as well. It's cut through the texture. Another way, let's go out of this layer back to the normal shapes. So on here, I drag this over my texture, click on V so the transform box comes up. I can rotate this as well so I don't have to have it in this direction. So I can cut through a different texture. I'll bring these two over here so you can just look at this. So at the moment this is on top. So I just want to see it cut through. I can select both, Pathfinder, minus front, let's cut through that texture. Unite will merge them together. So you can see what these different options do. I could bring this to the front, right click it, arrange, bring to front, and now it's in front. Select both and crop. And as you can see, that's merged it together. So if you want to keep the pink, if I duplicate this pink with, select it, alt click. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to select both, crop it. So as you can see at the moment, this is the texture. I can merge these two together. So I'm going to select both, go to align, which is how you can align different shapes together, and make sure it's set to align selection. So we're going to align these two selected shapes. I'm going to align in the center, horizontal align center, and then vertical align center. They're now exactly on top of each other. This one's in front, so let's change arrange, center back. And as you can see, that texture is now exactly lined up on the shape. I want you to now use all of these techniques and create an Atelier Bingo inspired composition. You can also use geometric shapes by using the shape tool. Here you've got rectangles with round edges, ellipses, triangles on the polygon tool. So here I can make a shape and drag those over as well and build them up.